Good evening and welcome to the first edition of Amex for Foodies in South Africa. I'm Steve Steinfeld and it is my great pleasure to be sharing this experience with all of you tonight. Amex for Foodies is a community created by American Express to share the passion for gastronomy. We are honored to be a part of it and glad that the platform has finally arrived in South Africa. A big thank you to American Express for having me this evening. I'm so excited to enjoy this night with you all while you are in your kitchens. Please remember to upload your videos and images to Instagram using the hashtag AmexForFoodies. Next up though, let me introduce to you the main star, the man of the moment, our gastronomic guide for the evening, Chef Wandile Mabaso. How are you doing?
Thank you. Welcome, Steve.
Absolute pleasure. And, great to be here.
It's great to have you in my kitchen.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And it's great to have you in my kitchen as well.
It's not often I'm this side of the pass.
Yes, you're always up there eating, but welcome, and I'm honored
much.
to have everyone here, and we're going to cook some really good food today.
Amazing. Before we start, can we just get an idea of your passion for food? Where did it start? We've got a lot of passionate home cooks at home, and I'm sure they would love to know where your passion started.
Well, it's been a long journey. It started off at the age of about 9 or 10.
Oh wow, that young.
Yeah, and you know, this was not by choice. It's something I had to do because single mom, and I had to cook for myself after school because she was working, and you know, we were eating peanut butter and jam every night. And so I thought maybe let me try something.
Cutting it.
Yeah, let me try something. So it started off with eggs, went with rice, just basics, salads, and then, you know, by 12, 13, 14, 15, I could cook meat. By 16, I was cooking for family, and I think by 17, 18, I was cooking professionally. And then I was in hotel school, culinary school, and then from there, it just skyrocketed, and the passion's been growing since.
Yeah, and I mean, knowing your background and your journey, you have had a phenomenal experience within the culinary world, and now you have your own restaurant.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about it? We're here in this beautiful space,
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we should do it some justice.
Definitely. I mean, it's always a chef's dream to own a restaurant. I think now we have to find bigger dreams. But, you know, Le Creatif is a small 40-seater restaurant, fine dining, gastronomy.
Okay.
And, you know, the name behind it is French because of my French training
What does
background.
it mean? What's
It means the creatives, Le Creatif. Okay. So it's all about trying different things, bringing new things to diners, to consumers, looking at food that we've eaten traditionally all over the world, not just in South Africa, but my heritage being from South Africa and Soweto. I tend to use all the techniques that I've learned everywhere and bring them into the country and use our flavors to bring something different. So it's all about pushing creativity. We've been open for a year, and I think we've created over 300 dishes.
That is insane.
There was a point where we changed the menu every day,
wow.
And now we change it on a weekly basis. This is obviously
still a challenge. I mean, that's a massive challenge for any.
It's a massive challenge, but
it's
it's good because it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you growing. It's easy to create a menu and say this is the menu we'll go with for the next 10 years, 5 years, like all restaurants do. And your team trains on this menu day in, day out, and they can do it with their eyes closed. But for us, it's every week. You know, our crew, once they learn how to do the dish, it changes to something else. But that's what Le Creatif
keeps them on their toes.
Definitely. So that's what Le Creatif is about. And I think the food that we have prepared for you, or that you're going to prepare together, you know, it talks about their creativity. You know, these are simple ingredients that we're going to elevate and refine them and turn them into a beautiful, beautiful dish.
Fantastic. Well, I hope all of you at home are ready to get creative. Wandile, what can you tell us about tonight's menu? What are we going to be making?
Well, it depends what you have in the box that you received.
Well, let's see what's in the box. This is so exciting.
Yes.
I feel like Christmas. Can we open?
Go ahead.
Oh, wow, that looks amazing.
Yes. So as you open the box, the first thing you'll see, is the menu.
Very nice.
It tells you exactly what we have in here, the full dishes.
Yeah.
And then we've also got the recipe for you as well that you can follow. And the first thing that you'll realize is this beautiful French bread. And this is a gift, obviously, from me.
From the restaurant?
Yes, from the restaurant. And this is to help you salivate and actually have something while you're going to prepare our
While you're
main course.
preparing everything else.
Yes, which is actually what we're going to be focusing on.
Okay. And anyone who's been to the restaurant knows that this bread is absolutely delicious. Should people at home want to do something a bit more special, if they're creating a special dinner, can they heat it up?
Yes, so when you get it, it's about 90% cooked.
Okay.
Your oven is already at 180 degrees.
Yeah.
All you need to do is put it inside the oven for about 5 minutes, just to warm it up, refresh it, and finish the 10% of the cooking. We've also prepared some butter.
Fantastic.
Okay, we've got truffle butter.
Oh, amazing. Where's your truffle from?
Black truffle, so this truffle is from France.
Smells amazing.
Yeah. And then we've got the normal butter,
Okay.
and this is smoked in hay.
I don't know about everyone else, but in my house, the normal batter is not smoked with hay. But that's super exciting. And that's just a little snack to get people started before we move on to the rest of the menu.
Yes. So we've also got a main course, which is lamb neck.
Okay.
We've got
So
the
that's
lamb neck here.
a braised lamb neck medallion.
It's braised lamb neck medallion. So
Cumin,
this is
coriander, potato puree.
Yes.
Red cabbage chutney, summer baby veg, cumin, carrot puree, paprika, and lamb sauce.
Yes.
That sounds amazing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
wow. And everything is so neatly packed.
Yes,
I feel like
definitely.
I'm
And this is
unpacking
the
presents.
actual lamb. This is the lamb neck.
Yeah.
So we braise it for about 4 hours, and this is what you've received here on your box as well.
And I love to see the use of secondary and tertiary cuts of meat in fine dining restaurants.
Yeah.
I think it is such a fantastic part of the sustainable journey that the culinary world is undergoing. So I
Yes.
think, yeah, and it's tasty. It's beautiful, beautiful
Yes.
food. And there is no reason we shouldn't use more of it.
Yes, we should eat more of that.
Yeah.
You know, the quality is 10 times better and probably less expensive, which I think is the way to go.
100%.
You know, in
Yeah.
this era
Cool.
of our economy.
Should we unpack the rest?
Yes.
What do we have over here? As you can see, everything is like really well presented, neatly portioned. So it's everything you need to make.
It's everything
this
you
meal.
need. So we've made this very, very simple for you. This is the liquid, which is vacuum sealed. This is the
Okay.
actual liquid which we cooked this lamb neck
So
in.
that lamb neck was
So
then
we're gonna-
braised in that.
Exactly. We're going to finish it off in there.
Yeah.
And we're going to use half of it also for our sauce, which our sauce is paprika sauce. If you don't have
Beautiful.
paprika, it's okay to use red pepper as well.
And of course, you know, you guys will have the recipe, so you can recreate this, I guess, at home.
Yes, definitely. And we've made it very simple. We've even cut the vegetable for you. You know, I've even marinated it in orange juice for you. And this is for our red cabbage chutney. And it comes together with the sherry vinegar and sugar as
Beautiful
well.
spices in here.
And sugar as well. So it's very simple. You open the bag, you put it in the pot, you let it cook down, you finish with a little bit of sugar, and you add vinegar. There goes your chutney.
And I think red cabbage is another ingredient that we are seeing a lot of in the culinary space. I think it's
Yes.
such a great ingredient. It's so versatile.
Yeah.
And I think we're only starting to use it to the best of its true abilities. It's kind of the cauliflower of 2020, I imagine.
Yeah, no, it's there's so much you can do with it. I think we've probably tried about 50 different things with this red cabbage. From purees to chutneys to salads to you name it.
Beautiful.
But to go with this is a potato puree
Okay.
or a mashed potato. So I've sent through potato as is because we're going to cook it exactly like this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to teach you a different technique today of how to
Okay.
cook potato. We're not going to open this. We're going to put it in the oven, and we're going to finish it off with our mixture here, which is milk, butter,
Yeah.
coriander,
Beautiful.
and fennel.
Yeah. No, that sounds delicious. And you clearly, like me, like your mashed potato, the French style,
course.
creamy, buttery,
course.
just absolutely delicious.
But remember that with my type of cooking, it's all about balance.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
as with everything in life, it's just
all
about balance.
good food as
Yeah.
well.
Everything in life is about balance. Balance, balance, balance. So this is very rich, the lamb neck. You know, we've got the chutney to cut the richness off.
Yeah, so there's some lovely acidity
Yeah.
going on over there.
Definitely,
Yeah.
and this will also be rich as well, you know. But the carrot puree, which we'll also make,
Fantastic.
carrots already sliced
Already
for you,
sliced.
you know, spices already prepared for you. So everything is really, really, really simple. It's just about focusing on the food and understanding the cooking process.
And respecting the produce. And I think that's what your food does when I've had it in the past.
Yeah, definitely,
Fantastic.
and I've included some vegetable as well.
Okay.
So
Have to get your fava day in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look around here, this is about 80% vegetation.
Yeah.
You know, this is an organic way of cooking. It's clean, it's fresh, and you know, it's not pretentious or anything. We're all about quality.
And just good food, beautiful food.
Yeah.
And before we get cooking and get started,
Yeah.
we've also got a dessert, which sounds amazing. A pistachio Paris breast, peanut and cappuccino mousse, chocolate crust, pistachio praline. That is a whole lot of my favorite things in one dish. Do you want to
Yes.
tell us a bit about that?
So once again, this is prepared for our guest, which I think you can keep in the fridge. It's rather a bit hot now in the summertime.
Yeah.
But you can keep in the fridge and you can enjoy it really after you've had your main course. So we've prepared this for you. I know it sounds like a thousand things in there.
But it's actually a pretty simple dessert. And yeah, you can see, if you look at it in front of you, just how simple it is. Beautiful use of ingredients.
It's very simple.
Fantastic texture. Well, I can't wait for dessert. So
Yes.
let's get started.
Yes. How about we sanitize, wash our hands first?
That sounds like a great
Let's
idea.
go.
We're going to go wash our hands and we'll be back shortly. After you, chef. Now we are back. What is the next step? What do our viewers at home need to get ready before we start cooking process? I think that's a good start. Because I like to get everything ready, you know, have my oven on, all the things.
Yes. So besides cooking today, we're going to show you how to manage time in the kitchen.
Okay.
All right. So first and foremost, obviously, you wash your hands. Everything has to be clean.
Of course.
Now, ovens have to be on, at least one oven at 180 degrees, and you should keep it like that up until you finish cooking. And your blender ready, a few spoons, ladle, spatula,
Yeah.
and maybe about 4 pans. That's all you need.
You don't actually need any fancy equipment to make fine dining at home, which I
No.
think is really cool.
No, not really. I think a lot of people don't really understand fine dining.
Yeah.
Fine dining is not so much of smokes coming out or fancy things or anything like that. Fine dining is very simple. It's all about quality of ingredients. You find the best quality of ingredients, you invest in it, and it's knowledge on how to treat it, and that's all it is. All the other stuff is really pretentious.
Bells and whistles.
It's pretentious because all you want to worry about is the flavor and the taste.
Awesome. Well, I think we should get started. Why are you plating up the breads and the dessert first? What's the thinking behind that?
Okay, so the thinking behind that is to have it plated and ready. So
Okay.
when we are finished preparing our main course, which I'll show you, we can go ahead and eat.
Fantastic. So it's just getting everything ready. So once the main is done,
Yes.
we can have a nice, beautiful,
Yes.
hot meal.
But I strongly suggest that when you do plate your dessert, okay, since it is summertime,
Yeah.
okay, I would recommend that you keep it in the
Stick
fridge.
it in the fridge.
Keep it in the fridge, otherwise
Fantastic.
it's going to melt up.
Awesome.
But I know that dessert, it looks like a million things, but it's really this.
Yeah, it's really simple.
It's really this. So, you know, the technique is within the flavors. Everything that you see in there is actually in there, and they're all different flavors, and it all adds up to one thing.
Well, that sounds absolutely amazing. For all of you at home, if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat box. Our team here at the restaurant will be ready to answer them for you. And if you feel like we're going a bit too fast, remember you can always just press pause and carry on the live stream at your own convenience. Also remember to show us what you're cooking. Post your photos and videos with the hashtag #AmexForFoodies. But before we move on, let's just take a moment to appreciate this beautiful food. I see you've plated up beautifully, Wandile.
Yes. Obviously, I put it in the oven for about 5 minutes at
Wonderful.
180 degrees.
Oh, beautiful and warm
it comes
as well.
out nice and warm. You know, the outside nice and crispy, typical French baguette.
Yeah. And the batter's just going to
With our
melt
butters as
gloriously
well,
onto that.
amazing. And while we're
Wonderful.
cooking this, it's something that you can eat and enjoy, or you can have it after you've finished.
Yeah, as part of the
dish. I
Yep.
mean, you know, French cuisine and gastronomy. People have bread while they eat as well, and the sauce is
Is it a
brilliant.
meal without bread?
Never.
I agree.
And then obviously, you know, our dessert, all you need is just a
beautiful.
spatula
Yeah.
to take it out of the box. and then onto your plate. And as I said, you can keep it in the fridge.
Yeah.
As it is hot during the season, and you can take it out as you're about to eat.
Fantastic. And the pastry and all that keeps wonderfully in the fridge.
Yes.
Nothing to worry about.
Perfect.
So yeah, while we're cooking, pop that in the fridge. And once you're ready for dessert, we'll just take it out again. Post your photos and videos to Instagram using the hashtags Amex4Foodies. Wandile, let's get cooking.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Chef, I can see things are heating up here in the kitchen. I see you've got the potatoes in the oven. And that's that process to make mashed potatoes that you've been telling us about. Can you tell us a bit more?
Oh, yes. So as I mentioned, we don't cut the potatoes at all. You don't peel them at all.
Okay.
You just literally put them in the oven at 180 degrees.
Pricking them with a fork or anything like that?
Nothing whatsoever.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
and they've been in here for about 30 minutes. So you can put them in there for about 45 minutes to an hour. You must just feel them. They must feel very soft.
Yeah.
Then you know they're cooked. But I'll take you through the whole process. And as I mentioned, this is all about maximizing on time in the kitchen.
Time management.
So, yes, you have to think about what takes you the longest to make, and that's our potato, right? It cooks for an hour. So we've got it inside here, and while that is working, we'll work on the next thing that takes the longest, all right? So now we're gonna move on to our sauce, which is gonna be the red pepper sauce.
Fantastic. I'm going to try my best to be your sous chef.
Yes.
First time working in a professional kitchen, but
Yes.
I'll give it a go.
All right. Okay, Steve, can you pass me the oil, please?
The oil? Yes,
Yes.
chef. We're going to be super, super professional about this.
Yes, definitely. So we've got our oil here, and you put it on a semi-hot pan.
And that's just usual cooking oil?
Yeah. This is the same oil we're gonna send out to you.
Okay.
And this oil is pretty much garlic infused oil with herbs.
Beautiful.
It smells beautiful.
Oh, you can smell
I
that.
can smell that.
Yeah. Wonderful.
So that's what gives a lot of flavor onto our sauce as well.
And a top tip: you never want to put your oil into a hot pan, correct?
No, you don't. If it's too hot, it might create a fire, and if the pan is too hot, it might actually burn the oil, and you can actually burn oil. It can't be that hot, and once you start burning oil, it actually starts tasting like gasoline, and obviously that affects the whole flavor of what
the rest of the dish.
yeah. But to figure out if it's hot or not, because now before you put your peppers, it has to be hot. For you to figure out if it's hot, you can see the lines as you move the oil like this. You can see the ripples. Then you know that it's actually hot enough. You shouldn't let it smoke. And then let's go ahead and take out the peppers. So it's always best to take everything out the packaging. All right, so it's easier for you to work with. And you can see, as you're doing this, you can see the ripples. That tells you that our oil is now hot enough, all right? And it has to be hot because the skin of the pepper is actually bitter. Okay. So you literally have to caramelize it in a way to make it soft, all right? Or to bring back the sugars.
Reduce that bitterness that's
exactly
normally present in them.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, so now that is working. So we're calling sweating. So we sweat it lightly. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And while that is sweating, and now we're gonna work on our carrot puree.
So next step, carrot puree.
Our carrot puree.
So we've got our pre-chopped carrots right here.
Yes, but the first thing you're gonna give me is the actual spices.
Spices.
Yeah.
Cool. And what spices do we have in here?
All right. So this is a mixture of This is allspice, cloves, and star anise for our carrot puree.
All super fragrant, rich, deep spices.
Beautiful. So it's going to give our carrot puree that flavor that you're looking for, you know. Fantastic. And we keep it organic, you know. We don't add too much to it. You want to bring out the flavor of the actual carrot.
Okay.
Now, rule 101: you have to toast your spices before you actually use them, right? So we need just to toast them a bit while we are sautéing our red pepper here.
And guys, remember that if you are falling a bit behind, you can always pause the live stream and continue at your own convenience. So don't feel pressure to rush ahead. We obviously are working with an incredible chef who knows exactly what he's doing. So we've got that beautiful blistering happening on the skin there.
Yes, definitely.
As you say, that's a caramelization process. So that's actually releasing the sweetness of the peppers.
That's exactly what it is. Because usually, as I mentioned, that the peppers, the skin is usually bitter.
Yeah.
And for what we're trying to achieve, we're not looking for that bitter flavor, all right? All right, so this is the caramelization, and this is exactly what you're looking for.
Okay.
And you can see now the peppers are semi-soft.
They're getting nice and soft.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's no need to sweat it further. All you have to do, I mean, it's literally 5 minutes of sweating it, all right? They're semi-soft, and all you have to do is now you open up our stock here.
Stock, and that's the stock that you actually braise the lamb in, correct?
This is the actual stock that we braise the lamb neck in.
So I'm assuming that really helps bring the dish into balance, using a lot of the same flavors flowing through the components.
So the star of the dish is the lamb, all right? So everything revolves around the lamb, all right? And then you add your stock here. Just add enough stock just to cover, okay? That's it. And then you let it cook, all right?
Do you want me to take that from you?
And while that's happening, our spices are toasted now. You can see them nice and hot.
So what does toasting the spices actually do?
It releases the flavor of the spices, so you literally get the maximum flavor out of the spices, you know?
Yeah.
And usually, I mean, it's also my findings and my opinion as well, is that if the spices are raw, I don't think that it reacts properly to the stomach. You know, I think it creates ulcers, it creates stomach cramps of some sort. So I really believe that spices should be cooked. Okay.
You go, so I guess it transforms the flavor profile in terms of you get a more toasty, literally toasty flavor to it.
That too, definitely. So what we do is we actually close.
Okay, so that's our peppers.
That's our peppers.
With the stock.
Yes.
We're just covering it, putting it on low heat.
Low heat.
Cool.
All right, take it slow, because now you're working on a number of things at the same time, right? And then we're gonna check here, our potato. It's almost there.
Yeah.
It's
Look how
almost
soft
there.
that is. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's very soft now. You can literally see it. So I think it needs probably about 10 more minutes. It's very important to actually keep checking how far it is. So instead of saying, okay, how long does it need to cook for?
Yeah.
So
keep an eye on it.
You keep an eye on it. So that's how you learn how to cook properly, when you have intuition of, okay, this is ready when it smells like this, when it feels like this, when it tastes like this, or if it's that color, as opposed to always 10 minutes in there, 5 minutes in there, 2 minutes in there, because ovens are not the same, fridges are not the same, equipments are not the same, all right?
Judge for yourself. Everyone's ovens are different. Everyone's stove heats are slightly different.
Yes.
And you know, if you're feeling the potatoes and they're not as soft as you think they should be, leave them in for a few
Leave them
minutes.
in there and just keep guiding them. But what's also very important is a little trick. Sometimes people's ovens are a bit too hot, all right? So always what you want to do is, because you don't want your potato skin to be flaky.
Yeah.
And I'll explain why. Okay, you just put a little water here just to steam it up so it stays nice and soft.
And I guess that also then stops the potatoes from bursting.
Yes, exactly that.
As the skin dehydrates.
Yes. We've got our spices, which are nicely toasted. You cool the pan down and then you just add your carrots directly onto the pan.
So just amongst the...
Yes.
Yeah.
And then...
And there's no oil or anything there?
No
I guess
oil.
The carrots will start sweating themselves.
No oil. So
okay,
now
we're actually adding some liquid.
you add water.
Fantastic.
Just
Roughly,
water.
How much water are you adding there?
Just enough to cover.
Cool.
Just enough to cover. All you need to do is just cook the carrots. I mean, when they sliced it, it's probably about 15 minutes. Okay? And we're just going to let it here. Cool. Leave it here and boil.
Also, what heat would you say that's on? So we actually are bringing it to the boil.
You bring it to the boil, and then once it's at the boil, you go at medium heat.
Okay.
The reason why you don't want to boil it for too long is because your water will reduce and finish before your carrot is actually cooked. Okay. So the whole idea is to cook the carrots. The water is not the important part, but just make sure you got enough water to cook the carrot. Yeah. And also, very important, okay, you have to season.
Yes.
So just a pinch of salt, and then you will taste after we make the puree, just to see if the seasoning is correct, and if it's not correct, we'll just finish the seasoning.
Seasoning, I think, is something that is also very personal. I know a lot of people, you know, like less salt. Some people like more.
Yes.
And I think, you know, rather start off slow, and you don't have to season at a particular point in time. You can add it as you go along.
Yes, as you go along.
And see. And,
if it works for you. If
you
need more salt, you add more salt. If you take less salt, it's up to you how you then season it.
Awesome.
Okay, so we've got our carrot puree going
Carrots
here.
on the go.
It's going to take about 15 minutes. So we've got our sauce here that's working. The peppers are almost ready. They're ready when the peppers are soft.
And I think what's cool to mention here is that cooking is a process that can take time. And it doesn't have to mean that because everything is on a moderate heat, we can have some leniency with when we move things around.
Yes.
And yeah, if you're getting flustered at home, don't. Cooking is fun.
Yes, cooking is fun.
Process.
Cooking is fun, and people should really get into it when you cook. I think that's what makes it fun. It's very therapeutic, and I think it becomes unbearable when it takes too long. Hence why we've actually made it so simple. And the technique we're using now is actually going to make it very simple and quick for us. So we just need to see what we have. Recap, we've got our puree working here. This is our carrot puree that is cooking.
And obviously you've got the spices in there and it's boiling, and that's actually infusing the flavors into the carrots, correct?
Exactly that.
Awesome.
And then what we're going to do is our chutney.
Chutney up next.
If you could please open that up. And as I mentioned, it's literally ready to go. You just open the bag and you put it in the pan. All right. As is.
Just get it all out of there.
And by now it's probably marinating in this orange juice for about maybe 24 hours. All right, and what we do is we're gonna move our sauce to the back here.
And if people want to recreate that at home, is it just sliced cabbage, orange juice, let it sit?
Yes.
Assuming a bit of salt, maybe.
Yes. So it's very simple. So you would slice this cabbage, red cabbage. You slice it thin, and then you would marinate it in orange juice, which is also an old French technique. Orange juice, and some people would use beer. I know in Germany they'll use beer.
Yeah.
And the next day you just cook it, and we're gonna finish this with, and it's already got sugar inside.
Okay.
So there's sugar in this mixture that's already in there because chutney is a sweet and sour affair. So it's all about sugar and acidity at the end, sweet and sour, literally.
Yeah.
And our sugar is in, and the orange juice is also, as it cooks and reduces, it's gonna release sugars. So that's what's gonna make it sweet. And then we're gonna finish with the sherry vinegar once it's cooked, and that's going to give it the sweet and sour.
Fantastic.
All right, so we've got the chutney going, we've got our sauce going.
And guys, I hope your kitchen smells as beautifully as it does in here, because everything is really, the fragrances are amazing, and it's one thing I do love about cooking is you kind of get a taste for things as you go along.
Oh, definitely.
So next steps, what should we do?
All right, so as this is cooking, we're now going to work on our potato puree or our mashed potato. It should be cooked at this time. Remember, the idea is to have everything working all together in harmony. So you kind of finish, you'll see how we finish everything in sequence. And that's the whole idea for today.
So that you end up with all components of the meal hot.
Exactly.
One of my pet peeves of going to a restaurant is when you go and the one component is boiling hot.
Exactly.
And often the protein, which is then put on last, has been sitting and is cold.
And then you lose time, you lose quality.
Yeah.
Now we're going to take our potato out, right? Now it's 100% cooked. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
This is what you're looking for.
And remember, not everyone has got chef's fingers, so just be careful because they are very hot.
Yes, they are very hot, but we are trained to survive heat. But please don't burn yourself. But you can use a spoon as well, or you can use a tongue. Just feel it. If it's soft enough.
And what you're looking for there is almost that give, so you can actually see that the inside is really soft and well cooked.
Exactly. You just want the potato to be cooked. And once again, as I mentioned, this technique over here, it's really to preserve the flavors of the potato. And you will taste that once we've actually finished the potato puree. But if your skin is flaky, once again, okay, just add a little bit of moisture just to soften it, okay?
So the way you rehydrate it?
No, we're not rehydrating it. We're making the skin soft because remember, we need to now get the potato out of the skin.
Okay.
And once it's flaky, it sticks to the potato, and you get some of the skin onto your potato puree. All right, so we're gonna let it rest for about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna carry on with our potato puree. You always have to be working on 2 or 3 things for you to maximize on time, right? So we're gonna put a pan on the heat.
Okay.
And then if you could pass me the milk.
Fantastic. And as you said, that's just milk that's been infused. It's got some butter in there.
It's got some spices. It's got some butter. As you can see, it's all ready for you. Fantastic. All right. All you have to do is just chuck everything in.
And again, I assume we're working on a relatively gentle heat there.
Yeah, so what you want is this not to boil at all, all right? What you want is just to be hot,
Okay,
all
so
right?
you're just heating it up.
You're just heating it up, all right? And at the same time, we've got our chutney, which is almost ready.
Yeah.
We're just gonna finish it with vinegar.
Cool.
And then we've got our carrot puree, which is maybe about 5 minutes away. We've got our sauce, our red pepper sauce, which is almost ready as well. And the next step is to go with our lamb.
We're going to heat up the lamb.
Yes.
And guys, remember that you can pause the live stream. As we get to this stage of the process, everything does start coming together very quickly, but you're in your own home, your own kitchen, and you can pause it, find your bearings, and then carry on cooking along with us.
Right, Steve, so now we're gonna cook our lamb,
Okay.
our lamb neck.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's already cooked. All we need to do is finish it up. So if
Yeah.
you could pass me the very same stock that this lamb was cooked in. This is the same broth that was used to cook the lamb. So half of it goes in the peppers and half of it goes into the lamb neck.
Fantastic.
So all you do is just place the lamb neck with the plastic on it.
Okay.
Okay. The plastic will not burn. And then all we do is,
And what heat should we have that on?
this is medium heat.
Okay, cool. Because
Okay.
again, you're not trying to cook it through.
No.
You're trying to warm it up
No.
so that when the dish comes together, it's all hot.
Exactly. And what we trying to do is also heat up the lamb as
Yeah.
well. So you just close it and you just let it heat up. All right. Now while this is working, we're gonna get to our puree.
Fantastic.
Okay. All right, Steve. So now we have our butter.
Yeah.
This is our butter mixture.
Cool. I'm assuming I'm going to be opening the blender for you at some point.
No, we're not gonna blend
Not yet?
the potato. No, not at all. All right. So this is our first step.
Yeah.
All right. You're gonna take the potato and this side, you're just gonna cut in half.
So cut it lengthways almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you go again this one.
And you can see as you cut into it how beautiful and soft it is. Yeah.
It's very soft. And the thing is, you want to avoid the skin going on there.
Okay.
All right.
Why? What does that?
It's just going to stick to the starch and you'll end up chewing the skin as you have the mashed potato. And the idea is to work with this while it's hot. So never put it in a blender because this is starch. If you overwork the starch, it becomes gluey.
Okay.
You want like a fluffy mashed potato. And you have to work on it while it's really hot. So this must be warm. This must be really hot.
Okay.
Okay. And this is a little trick you do.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so you see that?
Oh, very clever.
You're just taking out the meat inside. And you can use this at home. I promise you, you follow this technique, you'll never
So all
cook.
that is a oven rack over a dish.
That's it.
And because the potatoes are so soft and because we've kept that skin from going flaky,
Exactly.
they just pull off in one piece. That is very clever.
Exactly.
Top tip from the chef, everyone.
So you understand why your skin can't be too flaky.
Yeah.
Imagine doing this with a flaky
Exactly.
skin. All right, and now we've got this.
So next up, what's the game plan?
All right, Steve, so right away, and this needs to happen quick, otherwise, remember I said it becomes gluey if it gets cold. So you've got your potato. Now we've got our butter, milk, and spices.
And as you guys can see, the butter has just melted beautifully into the milk. Ready to be added to the potato,
Yes,
I guess.
exactly that. And you're going to add gradually, okay? Because you're going to work it to the consistency that you prefer, or I'll show you the consistency that I prefer.
You prefer, yeah.
What's best is instead of adding salt to the finished product, you add it to the mixture. All right? And you can actually taste the mixture and make sure that it's seasoned to your preference. You know, if it's not enough salt, then you add enough salt. So what you taste in there
is going to be what you get
is what you get in there.
And I assume that's to help with even distribution, whereas if you had to try salt the potatoes, it wouldn't be.
Okay, so these potatoes will look more rustic than your regular pure mashed potato, but the flavor, I promise you, is incredible.
It's worth the sacrifice.
And it looks rustic simply because I've added spices in there. Yeah. Okay? And now you just mix. That's all it is now. And you need to add your butter mixture gradually.
Yeah. So would you say in thirds, or would you just say just pour?
Just pour ladle by ladle.
Cool.
Ladle by ladle. You know,
And you can see it all coming together beautifully.
Yes, now it's coming together. And you just need to mash the potatoes as well. Make sure it's nicely smooth.
And all you're using there is just a spatula.
You need a spatula, that's
it.
Okay, no blending, no mixer, no whisk. Okay, I prefer not to use a whisk for mashed potato.
Okay. So you obviously then prefer a denser mashed potato rather than one that's been somewhat aerated.
Yeah, exactly. And I think sometimes when you use the actual whisk, it overworks it similar to a blender.
Okay.
Okay, and as you can see, that's all we are looking for.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a rustic one, slightly lumpy. In America, they call it crushed potato.
Okay. And I guess the reason that is great is because you're going to have your puree of the peppers, and you then have an experience. It's not just similar flavors altogether, similar textures altogether.
Exactly. So we're done with our mashed potato. We'll just keep it here. Okay, the next step is our sauce. All right. So the red pepper sauce, we're just going to blend.
Yeah. So just take everything in there, put it into the blender.
You'll see how beautiful this comes out.
Have you let it cool down slightly, or
no?
It can still be hot.
No, it has to be hot.
Okay, cool.
It has to be hot. Yeah. Actually, we can reheat it slightly, but it really has to be hot.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're working something in the blender, it's always best to work it when it's hot
rather than cold. Okay.
Yeah, because it actually blends quick, and it mixes quick, because blending is really about mixing.
Okay.
So go ahead.
You can see as you pick them up how soft they've become.
Yeah, nice and soft.
Yeah.
You know? And then what you do is, so now this liquid tastes like peppers and lamb.
Yeah.
And you just add the liquid in there.
So easy as that.
Easy as that. Okay. All right, Steve, so we're going to go ahead and blend our sauce here. And this is just going to blend itself.
Are we looking for a smooth consistency here?
Yeah, you're looking for a smooth consistency, similar to a sauce.
Yeah.
While this is blending, see, it's going to...
Yeah.
So while this is blending, we can take out the spices. Take out the spices from the carrots.
Okay. Obviously, you don't want those hard spices in the end result. You've imparted all the flavor into the carrots.
Yeah, so the spices don't have any flavor anymore. Okay, so we have transferred all the flavor from the spices into this liquid.
Yeah.
And you'll taste it on the finished product. It's a beautiful taste. All right, and then there you go. Wonderful. Our sauce is done. And you'll see this beautiful red pepper sauce here. Look at that.
Oh, that looks wonderful. You guys at home? I don't know if you want to...
Look at that. Look at the consistency of that.
So it is. That's the sauce of our dish. That's the sauce element.
Okay, so we've got our sauce out here. Okay.
How's the lamb looking?
The lamb is working. The sauce is ready. The chutney is almost ready. All right, Steve.
Yes.
Now it's time for our carrot puree. So you first take the carrots. Remember, we don't care much about the liquid.
The liquid, yeah.
The liquid is just to help blend the water.
Guys, remember that if you do have any questions, you can ask them to us in the chat box, and the restaurant team will get you answers. You're just taking them out.
Every last drop, and then you go with a little bit of liquid. Liquid is always gradually.
Yeah, I think the golden rule is that you can always add more, you can't take it out.
Of course, yeah, you can't take it out. All right, and then we do the same thing, we blend.
And again, we're looking for a puree consistency.
You're looking for a puree consistency, exactly. So while that is blending, okay, we've got our chutney.
Yeah, chutney's on the go.
So you see, it's literally dry here now.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so our carrot puree is pureed, as you can see.
Yeah.
One last thing you need to do is add just literally half a spoon of butter.
Okay. And that just thickens it up.
So as you can see, the carrot is pureed and it's a beautiful orange color.
Okay.
So you add just half a spoon of butter and then you put back in the blender. So you'll see what we will get afterwards.
And what does that butter do to the mixture, to our puree?
I mean, you know, butter is, it's a fat, so it adds some fat. So what the fat does, it actually, it's velvety. It gives you that velvety feeling on your throat.
Bit of creaminess.
Creaminess,
Yeah.
and the effect and the flavors last longer in your mouth.
Wonderful.
So I'm blending it up again, and you'll see it changes to a beautiful yellow color. Yeah. It's like magic, right? Right, Steve, how beautiful is this?
Yeah, no, and you can see, as you say, that color change.
Look at that.
Even texturally, you can see that there's definitely been a fat component added.
Look at that.
Oh, wonderful.
I mean, this is what you're looking for.
And what's amazing is that is achieved using a normal blender.
Yes.
So don't need a espuma gun or anything like that.
Nothing special,
Wonderful.
nothing technical. Okay, Steve,
Yes,
we are almost there.
almost there, almost at the finish line.
So while we're making our puree,
Yeah.
while we were making our sauce, we were actually heating up our lamb with the stock. And you see how the stock is reduced, right?
Completely, yeah.
So as the stock reduces, this is what you need to do. As the stock reduces, you see it creates a nice thick glaze.
Yeah.
And it becomes darker in color.
You just spoon it over the top of.
Just spoon it over the top like this. This is all you do. Okay?
Cool. And how often should you do that?
This you should heat it. You should put the heat back very slow.
Yeah.
And you should do it up until your liquid is reduced completely. Okay. And you'll see it'll create a beautiful glaze in there. And
so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that beautiful shiny glaze on top of the lamb.
And when you're ready to go ahead and glaze it completely, you just put your scissors in.
Yeah.
And then you just cut one side, all right? Cut.
And the reason you do
one
cook
side
it with the plastic is that so it keeps its shape.
So it holds the shape.
Sides.
It holds the shape. So we're literally taking a humble ingredient like a lamb neck and making it look beautiful. This is all we are doing. So you just remove the plastic like this. That's all you do. And remember, this plastic is not dangerous as long as you take all of it out.
Yeah.
Because this is actually plastic we use to cook with anyway. You see how the glaze is almost done here? See that?
Yeah, and it's thickening up a bit.
And then you just do this. Yeah. That's it.
You start seeing that wonderful shimmer on top.
That's it.
Beautiful. Chef, I have to say that smells absolutely incredible.
Oh, exactly.
Braising, reduced.
Exactly. All the flavor is in there. Now we've got our sauce ready, we've got our meat ready, our potato puree ready, our carrot puree ready. Now we just need to roast or reheat our vegetables.
Okay.
If you could please line them up here.
Oh,
and
wow,
then
no pressure.
you add a little bit of oil in it and then a little bit of seasoning, and we're gonna throw it in the oven and we're gonna start plating.
And we'll be putting it at the oven at 180, same temperature we've had it the whole evening.
Yes, definitely. I mean, the oven, it has to stay at 180 for the duration of the cooking. Everything you put in there, it will be 180. Everything is really about quick cooking, precision cooking.
I've never felt so much pressure putting vegetables in a pan. Everyone at home, I hope you've done a job as well as I have. What do you say?
Go ahead,
Good job.
Let's add some, but you've done well,
So
Steve.
we're just gonna drizzle some oil over.
Okay, that's enough.
Enough.
Not too much. Okay, and then some salt.
Salt.
And then from there you can just
get all of them covered in the oil.
Just get them covered in the oil. I mean, you can go less oil, but really this is healthy oil because it's olive oil that we've infused. The same oil that we've sent to you, we've actually infused it with herbs and garlic. And you just you leave it in there and it stays, it cooks and it roasts and it heats up while we actually start to plate, all right?
Fantastic.
So
now it's time for plating, which is my favorite part of cooking.
yes.
I think it's such a great way for people to express themselves.
Is that your favorite
That's
time?
my favorite part of cooking. Plating up. I think it's, it's the time where you get to express who you are as a cook, who you are as a chef.
Yeah, definitely.
And just...
So you want to go ahead and plate?
I think I'd let you take this one, but maybe next time.
Okay. All right, so we must just make sure we have everything before we start plating, all right? So we've got our chutney,
Cool.
red cabbage chutney.
Yeah.
All we need to do is just finish with some vinegar.
And that's going to bring some beautiful acidity to cut through the sweetness that has developed as we've been cooking.
Exactly, exactly. And then you just mix it. I mean, it looks beautiful. Look at that beautiful. And as soon as you put vinegar, it turns into like a pinkish color.
Like vibrant, bright, beautiful.
Beautiful,
And it's going to be such a contrasting element on the plate.
And it speaks a lot to the season that we are in now.
Of course.
Colorful, bright. And then we've also got our sauce. Beautiful red pepper sauce. I mean, look how beautiful that is.
Yeah. And again, it's that color and so vibrant, so beautiful.
Really, here it's all about colors. I mean, you know our food. It's all about
Eat
color.
with your eyes.
Eat with your eyes, but at the same time, it's really not pretentious. It's really not pretentious food. It's beautiful flavors. Flavors that really do make sense.
And what I like is that it's a proper meal as well. It's a great amount of lamb.
Yes.
You've got some, carbs, vegetables, everything you need for a proper meal. It's not kind of a tiny little dot on the middle of the plate.
No. And although we're known for that in fine dining, all right? So it's up to you how you plate, but I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and plate my style, which is it's all about contrast in color. Okay, so we go ahead and add our carrot puree here. It's really, you're right about the fun part. It is fun. It is fun if you do it right.
Of course.
So, and obviously the packages that we have sent you, the boxes, are actually for 2. So we're gonna go ahead and plate 1, but it's really up to you how you plate
How you
it.
want to plate them.
And the plating, as I always say to people, is that it's really showcasing your personality, what you're all about, and
I think it's of course just personal expression.
Yeah,
and if you do
definitely.
plate up differently, please remember to share your photos on social media with the hashtag #AmexForFoodies. So, I mean, obviously you're the pro here, and you've got this ring that you're using to create the circle of mash.
yes.
Obviously, people might not have that at home.
Yes.
What is it? What's the purpose? And what can you do if you don't have one?
So this, most people would have this because this is a ring or a cookie cutter. It's what you use to cut.
Yeah.
But if you don't have it, it doesn't change the flavor of the food. You have to find a different style to plate.
Yeah.
Even just a quenelle or a spoon on the plate is literally good enough. The most important part is really, really, really the cooking part.
Yeah, and what it tastes like, flavor.
The flavor, what it tastes like. And then the plating is really your preference and what you would like. And then we've got the lamb here. The lamb neck, beautiful, look at that, okay? Lamb neck for 2.
Yeah.
So you need a spatula for this one, okay? You just pick it up because it's extremely fragile, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the mashed potato. So my plating is usually a bit, some beautiful, some strange.
Yeah.
But
So what are we going for today?
probably going for both.
Fair enough.
All right, so now we've got our chutney. All right, and everything is well thought after in terms of the flavors. All right.
Yeah, and the aroma is coming off.
The aromas,
beautiful. Wow.
the color contrast is really, really, really thought after. So everything really makes sense here, and you only see it come together at the end. Okay, so this is our chutney, and then you can take out our vegetables.
Yes. The ones that I slaved over making.
Beautiful.
And again, I love the colors you've chosen to use. And knowing you, that's not a mistake. That, you know, as much as the vegetable component is there for vegetables, it's also there for color.
Definitely. All right, and then just a nice contrast of color here. you know. And we don't want to be too technical because obviously our guests need to replicate this as well. And then you must just look in your fridge, look at what you have, look at what else you can use. But I mean, from my fridge, I already have some green stuff, you know.
Wonderful.
So the green stuff is really good because, I mean, you can see this plate is quite bright and already you can see what's missing, you know. Just missing that greenness. And I always like to plate and put things almost like they are falling or they are real or...
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
So it's quite natural plating. It's not too technical in a way.
No.
Despite the fact that there is a lot of technique going in here.
There's a lot of technique.
Yeah.
I think we make it look easy.
Yeah.
But it is the fun part, and I think you guys at home can actually take the time and play around with it, have fun. You know, like Steve said, send us some pictures. Let's see if you can cut it in our kitchen, and just really have fun, because that's what cooking is all about, you know, and it's very therapeutic.
And I have to say, that looks absolutely magnificent. Beautiful as always.
No, it's a pleasure. And I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy it at home.
And here we have our completed meal.
Yeah.
Thank you, chef.
Looks beautiful, right?
You've been a fantastic teacher. Yeah, I did it all myself. You've been a fantastic teacher, and I hope all of you at home have enjoyed it as much as I have. Please keep posting your videos and photos and hashtag Amex for Foodies. We want to see what you've made. But before we get into our amazing food, you'll see a QR code come up on the screen. Please scan it and give us feedback.
Have a great evening. Enjoy your meal. Hope to see you here at Les Creatifs very soon. Bon appétit.